She made his life a nightmare. The Case of Mackenzie Shirilla. True crime documentary. Hey guys, welcome to Crime Canvas, and today we're going to take a look at another horrible case with you. According to psychologists, most often teenagers commit offenses for three reasons: the desire to assert themselves and gain authority among their peers, alcohol addiction or addiction to illegal drugs, but most importantly, a sense of impunity. Even for the most serious crimes, minors often receive minimal punishment because their young age is taken into account. In our story today, a schoolgirl named Mackenzie Shirilla became the perpetrator of a terrible tragedy that took 2 lives at once. However, the girl herself did not feel remorse for her crime, and at the trial stated that she could do almost anything while staying alive, but she does not consider herself cool. Mackenzie repeatedly changed her testimony, writing off everything on a lapse in memory, and apparently until the last moment was confident that she would get away with it. But the verdict of the judge literally dumbfounded the young criminal and her mother, who so desperately defended her daughter. But let's get to the bottom of this. Who is Mackenzie Shirilla? Mackenzie Shirilla was born in August 2004 in the quiet town of Strongsville, Ohio, and was the 3rd child in the family. Her parents, John Shirilla and Natalie Stevens, tried to bring up their heirs in love and care, to give them a good education and encourage all endeavors. The youngest daughter was a family favorite. She was forgiven many pranks from childhood and even serious misdemeanors, often getting away with it. Mackenzie grew up capricious, demanding, and selfish. She was used to the fact that parents always do as she requires, and was also confident in her own impunity, no matter what she did. Classmates and teachers of the girl noted that in childhood, she was quite a nice and open child, but with age, her character and behavior began to deteriorate. The girl threw real tantrums if something went wrong. She easily lost her temper, behaved impudently and impatiently, swore, and could even get into a fight. Mackenzie did not consider anyone's opinion but her own. Her word should always be the last, and she put her own interests above all else. In adolescence, the character of the girl became simply unbearable, but her parents did not see anything terrible in this, believing that her daughter has a transitional age and she should be treated with understanding and patience. However, bad character was far from the worst of all the troubles. In high school, Mackenzie was addicted to alcohol, as well as sometimes dabbled in illegal drugs, but she got away with it often. The girl's actions were reckless and carried a direct threat not only to her, but also to the people around her. Parents still did not notice or simply did not want to notice the obvious problem. Like many of her peers, Mackenzie was a big fan of social media and literally never let her smartphone out of her hands. She often posted provocative pictures of herself smoking or drinking alcohol on her account, and she left equally provocative comments on them. Mackenzie's friends were just like her. Together, they vandalized, organized pogroms, fights, sometimes stole, and several times came to the attention of the police. However, the young people were treated only with warnings and educational talks, which strengthened their belief in their own impunity. Dominic Russo, a young man named Dominic Russo, was also a native of Strongsville. He was born in September 2001 and was the 4th of 7 children to his parents, Frank and Christine Russo. The boy was raised with 3 brothers and 3 sisters with whom he was always very close. Dominic studied well in school from childhood years, actively engaged in sports, and tried to lead a healthy lifestyle. Despite the fact that he grew up in a large family, neither he himself nor any of his brothers or sisters were not deprived of parental love, attention, and care. Spouses Frank and Christine were moderately strict with their children, but at the same time promoted their all-round development. Dominic always had a lot of friends. He was used to being in the center of attention and became the soul of any company. The young man had a bright and quite attractive appearance, was trim and interesting, so he also had a lot of admirers from a young age. However, he himself tried to avoid fleeting romances, emphasizing serious and promising relationships. After graduating from high school, Russo became a student at a local university, choosing the specialization producer of performing arts, He dreamed of linking his life with music and one day becoming a famous music producer. In addition, the talented and versatile Dominic wrote and performed songs himself. By the age of 20, the guy already had his own small business. He bought a car and rented a separate apartment in a good neighborhood. At the same time, he continued to play sports and was considered one of the best students at the university. First love Dominic and Mackenzie met for the first time when the girl studied in the graduating class. It happened at one of the parties in the company of mutual friends, and this accidental meeting became fatal for both of them. Young people were complete opposites of each other, and opposites are known to attract. A handsome, curly-haired young man, well-versed in music, immediately attracted Mackenzie's attention. He was radically different from the guys she usually socialized with. He was educated, well-mannered, interesting, and could easily hold a conversation on any topic. Mackenzie herself had a striking appearance and slim figure, dressed well, and knew how to make the right impression. She turned on all her charm to draw the attention of the guy she liked, and she managed to achieve the desired rather quickly. In the fall of 2021, the couple began dating, and almost immediately each of them introduced the chosen one to their parents. But if Mackenzie's parents were delighted with her choice and considered Dominic a brilliant couple for their daughter, the parents of the guy had mixed feelings about his passport. On the one hand, the girl looked sweet, innocent, and tried to make a good impression on them, but on the other hand, something in her immediately alerted Frank and Christine Russo. Friends and family members of Shirilla were sure that Mackenzie, for the first time in her life, really fell in love and sincerely hoped that the relationship with the chosen one would positively affect her character and behavior. Then no one could not even guess what tragedy would end this youthful romance. The couple began to appear everywhere together, holding hands and openly demonstrating their tender feelings for each other. So soon the whole small town knew about the relationship. Those who knew Mackenzie well sincerely felt sorry for her boyfriend, but most just happy for them. What was wrong with her? Soon Dominic began to notice oddities in his girlfriend's behavior, her defiant antics, and desire to make everyone around her do only what she wants. At first, he did not focus too much attention on it, writing off everything on the young age and the desire to attract attention. The young people made plans for their future together and even planned to get married as soon as Mackenzie turned 18. They also planned to leave their native provincial town and together go to conquer a major metropolis, ideally New York, where Dominic would open a lot of opportunities to build a brilliant career in the music industry and fully reveal his talent. But as time went on, Mackenzie's behavior became more and more alarming, and sometimes even frightened the guy. She demanded from her boyfriend that he did only what she wanted, and if he did not agree with her in something, she made scandal through tantrums and behaved like a little capricious child. At first, Dominic tried to translate everything into a joke, but soon realized that this is the true face of his chosen one. In public, she was still trying to hold on, but being alone with her boyfriend spewed on him the whole storm of his emotions, and sometimes even pounced on him with fists. Mackenzie's behavior became more and more aggressive, and at some point, the young man decided that he had enough. He suggested that she take a pause in the relationship and sort out her feelings, but upon hearing this, Mackenzie had a public showdown in front of their mutual friends. She screamed, threatened Dominic that she would kill him if he left her, threatened to burn down his house and wreck his car. But by doing so, she only made him feel more confident that he was doing the right thing by ending this toxic and unrewarding relationship. Obsessive stalking Mackenzie had no intention of letting her boyfriend go, and at first, she acted as if nothing had happened. She continued to called him to various parties and other events, as well as exhibited in social networks of their joint photos, accompanying them with posts with declarations of love. When Dominic firmly told her that everything is over between them, she literally went mad with anger and rage. Mackenzie went to his house almost daily and shouted all sorts of nasty things, insults, and threats under his windows. She called him from different numbers, left messages on his answering machine, wrote on social media, and emailed him. Mackenzie then swore in love and offered to try to start all over again, then again began to insult and threaten. Russo was confused. He simply did not know how to react to such behavior because he had never encountered such behavior. He tried talking, tried to ignore the former lover, and a couple of times even recorded her threatening tantrums on his phone. It got to the point that Shirilla, seeing the ex-boyfriend on the street or in another public place, began to scream and insult him in front of passers-by. She turned Dominic's life into a real nightmare, but he still hoped that a little more time would pass and she would leave him alone, switching to someone else. One day, in front of witnesses, Mackenzie declared that it was easier for her to kill Dominic than to let him go. She said that if he didn't come back to her, no one would have him and she would take care of it. The young man did not take these words seriously, although those around him realized that Mackenzie was not joking. Among the most frequent threats from the mouth of the schoolgirl were promises to hit and run over the guy with a car, as well as to put him in the car and drive off a cliff or stop on the railroad in front of a train rushing at them. Each option sounded terrifying, and each of them Mackenzie described in detail, as if she had planned it all out long ago and was just waiting for the right opportunity. Once upon a time, in the tumultuous world of relationships, Mackenzie found herself at a crossroads. Faced with the impending loss of Dominic, her ex-boyfriend, Mackenzie realized that threats and insults were pushing him further away. Determined to win him back, she decided to change her approach. Mackenzie transformed herself, becoming sweet and charming once more. She ceased pressuring and harassing Dominic, opting instead to feign realization of her mistakes and express a desire for positive change. In this newfound persona, she discussed future plans, sought help with university enrollment, and claimed to be more focused on academics. Surprisingly, Dominic was pleased by these changes. Despite past grievances, he still harbored tender feelings for Mackenzie. Out of kindness, he decided to assist her with university enrollment, and the two began spending time together again. As their interactions deepened, Mackenzie's efforts to mend the relationship seemed successful. Dominic, oblivious to the hidden motives, invited Mackenzie on dates, believing she had genuinely matured and become more responsible. The couple, however, kept their reunion secret, enjoying their time away from the scrutiny of friends and acquaintances. Amidst the renewed romance, Mackenzie's sinister intentions remained concealed. Unbeknownst to Dominic, she was devising a chilling plan of reprisal against him. Infatuated with the idea of a dramatic car crash, Mackenzie meticulously planned the scenario, spending hours scouting locations in the city. Her initial intention was a joint demise, a tragic tale to be retold by the city's inhabitants. She confided in her best friend about the plan, who dismissed it as another delusional idea. In July 2022, just a week before her coming of age, Mackenzie proposed attending a party with Dominic, an event hosted by mutual friends. Eager to showcase their renewed love, Dominic agreed without suspecting the impending tragedy. On July 30th, at the party, the couple appeared happy, holding hands and openly displaying affection. Little did anyone know the horrifying turn the night would take. The couple, under the influence of alcohol, continued their celebration. Unbeknownst to Dominic, Mackenzie secretly ingested illegal drugs for courage. As they left the party, a friend requested a ride home, altering the course of events. Despite initial objections, Mackenzie, avoiding suspicion, agreed to give the friend a ride. This decision set in motion a tragic series of events, leading to a horrifying car crash. In the aftermath, only one woman from a nearby residence witnessed the accident. She promptly called emergency services, but it was too late for 2 lives lost in the crash. Mackenzie, miraculously saved by her seatbelt and airbags, was unconscious, her legs trapped in the wreckage. Rushed to the hospital, she faced a complex recovery with fractures, internal organ damage, and the influence of alcohol and drugs evident in her blood. The investigation initially swayed towards a belief that Mackenzie, under the influence, accidentally crashed the car. However, as evidence unfolded, it became apparent that the crash was a result of a deliberate act. Surveillance footage revealed Mackenzie's calculated drive towards the industrial area, contradicting her altered testimony. When confronted, Mackenzie changed her story multiple times, further complicating the investigation. Released from the hospital, Mackenzie resumed her carefree lifestyle, showing no remorse. In September, she attended a concert despite not fully recovering. By October, she was back on her feet, attending Halloween celebrations. However, on November 4th, 2022, her carefree days came to an end when she was taken into custody. The trial unfolded over 3 months, with Mackenzie charged with premeditated, aggravated double murder and drug possession. Despite changing her testimony, she was found guilty on all counts. An important nuance emerged as she was tried as a minor, being a week away from her 18th birthday during the crime. Mackenzie received 2 consecutive sentences of 15 years each, eligible for parole in 15 years. Family members sought a review, while Mackenzie's lawyer appealed, but the judge upheld the sentence, convinced she showed no remorse. As Mackenzie entered prison, she had ample time to reflect on her heinous act. The world outside moved on, but the scars of her actions remained. A chilling tale of love turned deadly. And so, the curtain fell on Mackenzie's once carefree life, replaced by the somber reality of consequences.